Hey, 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 wild woman. What a beautiful day. Oh my gosh. I hope that you are having the most blessed day wherever you are in the world. If you're driving, if you're working out, if you're with your kids. Hello, little chicken nuggets. That's what I call my kids, little chicken nuggets. I am just jamming and vibing in the Into the Wild studio because so many cool things. One, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see I got a nice, cute little mic flag for my microphone, the little thing that goes, the branded thing that goes over the mic. And I'm so excited to be talking to you today about visibility. And I'm not going to go deep on how to pitch people, how to craft a pitch, or how to DM somebody to be on their podcast. I'm talking about the visibility that you need to know, you need to show up as. So, like your true self. This is you sharing the things that you're passionate about. It's you showing up and talking forever and on repetition about the things that you're selling and teaching and the lessons that you're learning about life. I always talk about flexing my muscle and my brain muscle in doing Instagram lives and stories, and even on this podcast, is every rep counts. Every time I show up here and I start jamming on a topic, sometimes I go completely off script. Other times I have notes. My team and I, we create notes. We create show outlines, the core concept, what we want to teach, stories we want to share. I don't just sit down and press record. There's thought that goes into everything. And that's how I approach this. But really, when it comes down to how I'm able to grow my personal brand, how I'm able to sell out events, is because I'm not afraid of hiding. You cannot be an entrepreneur, CEO, and the face of a company and hide. If you're an introvert, this is especially tough on you. I'm an introvert too, by the way. But I'm here today to help you understand that staying hidden is blocking your growth and how you can stay visible in the way that not only feels aligned, but also actually converts into clients, opportunities, and revenue. I'm hoping at the end of this episode that you will walk away with clarity on what kind of visibility matters to you and your business, the mindset shifts that make it easier, and practical steps to start showing up consistently without getting super bored, annoyed, or burnt out. But let me tell you, you know what? Sometimes you do get bored. And I'll talk about that after. But I want you to stay to the end because I'm going to drop some secrets about how to get more visible. But first up, the truth about why most of us hide. So for the longest time when I was in the Renee 2.0, maybe 3.0 version of myself, I was coasting between agency life and starting another agency and moving to the West Coast. I didn't know who I was serving or what I was even doing, let alone why I was doing it. Then, over the years, I worked out exactly who I was serving. And every morning I wake up reminded of myself that there's two people that I'm showing up for every day. There's the doer Dana and the leap year Lila. These are the two women that we've identified to be our core target audience in the business that we're running with the Pink Skirt Project, which is an annual summit and a coaching program called The Society. Go check it out, pinkskirtproject.com. But for the longest time, I was not motivated by it. I lacked the purpose. I lacked the vision. I didn't trust myself. I didn't believe in myself. And so putting myself on a stage, let alone talking about this big idea that I had, was just absolutely crazy for me. And what it took was the confidence, the self-trust, but it took these little deposits of people saying, hey, Renee, that podcast episode changed my life. Or the community you built introduced me to that next level of women, or the retreat that you hosted. I know the advice I got from that retreat that you hosted is going to garner me an extra $1 million a year. It was those little incremental deposits of inspiration that helped me take the cloak off and become more visible because, hey, if I can serve these people in private, imagine what it would be like if I actually stepped out on stage. And it ain't easy. Gosh, no, we're at almost 400 episodes. Maybe at the time of this recording or this publishing this episode, we'll be past 400 episodes. That's a feat. And we're 5.5 years into this podcast, let me tell you, there are days I sit here and I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to do this. I'm bored. I'm having hot flashes. And I still show up because when I get into the rhythm and into the flow of the show, it just like, it pours into me. So then I know I'm here for you. I'm here for me. This is like therapy. And I'm okay to be seen and visible because I know who I'm serving. That is you, sister. That is you. And I know why I'm here. Many entrepreneurs think that they're maybe working too hard. I thought so too. And some days I still question all this too. The reality is that most people are just staying in their safe zone because they are fearful of judgment. They're fearful that somebody's judging them and that if they say something wrong or offhanded, that nobody will buy from them. I share the story about when I posted something about how there's this meme on an Instagram account where it's like a picture and there's like on one side of the picture, it's the old recorder instrument that we used to play in grades 7 and 8. And on the other side was like a picture of an accountant. And they said like, I can't believe they taught us how to play this thing, but I still don't even know how to file my own taxes. The point being that sometimes the things that they were teaching us in middle and grade school were just useless. Useless. And I was never once dissing learning music. I never once dissed the importance of the learning music as a language. But for some reason that offended a couple people and they passed judgment. And maybe they stopped following me and blocked me. And like old Renee, I would have cared. I would have like been, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I don't mean to offend you. But as my late friend, Rachel Luna says, God bless you, Rachel. I know you're watching over me right now, sister, is you need the permission to be offended. And if you can't step in the role of being okay with offending somebody, then there's no point on even listening to the rest of this episode. But if you're still here, it's because you want to learn something. And the truth comes down to this, is for you to scale your business, you need to be seen. If people can't find you, they can't buy from you. Let's talk about the kind of visibility that actually leads to results and not just likes. So why hiding feels safer, but it actually costs you more? Because you fear the judgment, you have imposter syndrome, I don't have the time to do my hair and makeup. If you watch any of my Instagram lives, half of them I'm like straight out of the gym or just rolled out of bed and I didn't even try to look put together. Hiding might make you feel safe in the moment, but it actually is expensive and it costs you clients and it costs you your confidence and clarity. In a meeting I just had with our wealth advisor with my husband, we were talking about like trust funds and legacy and all this stuff. And it was like way over my head. And the first bit of the meeting, I didn't speak up because I'm really just like kind of getting the lay of the land of like, who knows the answers to what questions. And old me wouldn't have said anything in those moments because I felt like an idiot. My husband knows this stuff so well, questionably better than the experts in the room. But I felt very intimidated and shy. And finally, I just started asking questions. And the women that were at that table really leaned in because they saw that I was curious. And I want to know what's going on with our money too. And I'm not the expert in this situation. So of course I need to ask questions. And the moment that they started saying, that's a great question. Here, I got a chart for that, or here, read this little paragraph. The more I got comfortable. But had I not just asked that one question, I wouldn't have been comfortable to ask more. Just like had you not asked that question if you're in the audience at a big event like the Pink Skirt Project Summit, had you not posted your first reel or your first story or gone live on Instagram for your first time. It's like the not knowing is what is the thing that's stopping you because you fear you're going to fumble or stumble or nobody shows up. When I was first doing my IG lives, I think I had like 1 or 2 people. I remember there was one time that maybe people dropped off and there was literally nobody watching me live. There's nobody. Oh my gosh. I'm like, who am I even talking to? But what I do is I make those lives now available as a reel, and I'll get like 6, 7, 8,000 views, and I get comments and I get discussions and I get direct messages now about the content. And it's like, It actually works. It works. You have to trust the process. But if you're so fearful of being seen, you're just going to be exactly where you are today. So here are the 7 visibility truths that I'd follow today if I was me like 5 years ago. The first thing is to get crystal clear on who you're serving and why you're sharing before you post any content, before you write any email, before you draft any blog post. Who you're serving is the fundamental, most important thing. And you got to be reminded of this person every single day. See, I used to post more sporadically without knowing my purpose or my why. Now I dip into this thing called rich girl energy, which is my North Star. Everything I share connects back to helping women build wealth and confidence and defining success in their life, building their life on their terms. I don't create content just to create content. I create it to serve a specific person with a specific transformation in mind. So who is that for you? If you're a coach, if you have an agency, if you have a physical product, what is the one thing you do for that one person? And when you think about all the challenges this person experiences in a day, you have so much content right there. But what you're trying to do is serve that person time and time again. The next thing is to focus on converting visibility and not just vanity metrics. So not just the numbers, not the followers. It's beyond that. And let me tell you why this is so important. Because I've posted stuff. I've posted reels. I've posted carousel posts that got very little engagement, right? Public engagement, as in there were very few people that were liking it or commenting on it. But the DMs blew up because the topic was such a private affair that they were like, hey, I want to talk to you about this, and voice notes and text message from friends and WhatsApp. And to me, that was still a home run. Now, if I was only measuring the success of this content based on what people liked or commented publicly, then I would say I'm a failure. But it's really about the impact that you're creating. I learned that the hard way, that there's a massive difference between posting endlessly with no call to action or no honest truth about how you're going to help anybody. And with that, it just kind of like, it makes the effort very unclear. So converting visibility means every piece of content connects to my ideal client's needs and gives them a next step to work with me. It could be like, hey, drop a comment below or drop a heart below. Let me know. It's like, hey, are you homeschooling your kiddos? Drop a star below. Because then I'm like, cool, here's some other homeschooling mommies that I can talk to and get some advice from. Number 3 is that I build my visibility rhythm around what I can sustain long term. Okay, so I did not realize the depth of how much goes into podcasting. And I'm still showing up. Now it's twice a week, and we've been doing this for a couple of years. And for me, it's sustainable. So we're going on a big trip coming up in a couple weeks, and I need to just front load as much content as possible because of jet lag and travel. And I just want to make sure that at least the first 2 weeks of our trip, at least, we've got stuff covered so that I can take the second week while we're there to start recording again. I don't want to be pressured. I don't want to be rushed. I want to be intentional with every piece of content that I'm putting out there. So building the rhythm is that you pick, maybe for you, it's 1 to 2 visibility channels that actually feel aligned. So for me, that's like podcasting and Instagram, and create a repeatable content rhythm like stories and value posts and clear invitations. Start small, but stay consistent with your content because that's what the algorithm wants, but that's the visibility that compounds over time. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. Consistency is your currency. Number 4, the advice that I would give myself is to document my journey. Document my journey and don't just create perfect content. Instead of waiting until I have it figured out, I share my wins, my failures, or something that I have on my mind. And in everything in the in-betweens and the reels and the uglies and the not so uglies. People connect with authenticity and not perfection. When I show my process, like the messy middle or the things that are going wrong in my marriage, I don't really share that much, but there does happen. or parenting or whatever, the frustration I have, the breakthroughs, even the setbacks, it builds trust with people and it beats a polished version. It beats the polished version of Renee. People love the photo shoots with the hair and the makeup. Don't get me wrong. But they also love it when I'm not that person, when they can see the full spectrum Renee, because when you're relatable, when you are relatable, that's when people can trust you more. And when people can trust you more, they want to buy from you. So be relatable, be yourself. And being yourself means you're not going to be for everybody. And you also have to be okay with that. Number 5 would be to leverage other people's audience before building your own. When we first started my first agency, which was called Onboardly, when we started our newsletter and tried to grow our email list, we succeeded by partnering with other people that already had a massive list, like Sujan Patel and Column 5 and other big names back then. And what we would do is we would write a guide, like a lead magnet. We would do all the work, set up the landing page, set up blah, blah, blah. As long as we could use their name, obviously they would approve it and they would promote it. And then we would just share the leads. So we'd get like thousands and thousands of people downloading these guides. There's probably some that are still available today, even though they're like 12 years old. But that was us borrowing other people's audiences. So this could be doing an IG live with somebody else, collaborating on a reel or other sort of collaborations. I spent way too much time trying to build stuff from scratch that now that I know that I get the most visibility when I'm showing up on maybe other people's podcasts or other people's stages or in other communities. I would teach in other people's masterminds when I used to run an agency, and it was guaranteed that I'd get at least one new client every single time I did that. I treat guest appearances as my fastest path to visibility. So even when I have guests on this show, that is borrowing other people's audiences because they're likely to share it. And it's not selfish. It's actually a business strategy. And so where in your community, who on your list, who of your friends, acquaintances, can you do some sort of partnership, IG live, collaboration, promo, something? Think of it. Even now, like, you know who does this really well? Are all the affiliates, which I'm actually going to talk to you about right now. And so the fine print is that I'm going to tell you about my friend Heather Chauvet. She's got this really cool program that she's launching now that has completely changed my life, even though I'm married to the man that wrote the book, Buy Back Your Time. So my dear friend Heather Chauvet also has a great podcast. She just released a 15-minute training that completely changed how I experience my days, layered on top of everything I've done with my husband, Dan Martel. She shows you how to reclaim 10 plus quality hours of your week back and put your soul back on the calendar. It's not about doing more. It's about making space for what actually matters so you have more energy and that you reach your goals faster. This is the ultimate dream. And her training is only 15 minutes. So in 15 minutes, she's going to teach you the hidden time that drains you and steals hours from your weeks, and the stuff that you don't even know that you're doing. And then the simple framework to get it all back by saying no more often and feeling empowered by it and not guilty by it. For me personally, it saved me 8 hours instantly. So if you want to check it out, this free training, Heather Chauvet, you can, and especially if you want to stop running on empty, is I put the link in the show notes below. And I'm just going to pull it up now because the name of this program is so cool. So just one sec here. Heather Chauvet. So if you go to the show notes, you click the link. It's called the Soul First Time Strategy, how to buy back 10 plus quality hours a week and put your soul back on the calendar. And it's just a quick 15-minute training. So go check it out. She is an incredible human. Absolutely love her potty pod. And you'll want to check out that free training. It's masterclass is going on right now. Go check it out. Link is in the show notes. So the 6th thing I would tell myself is to show up where my ideal clients already gather. Duh. So my ideal client is already listening to this podcast. Hello. They're already coming to my events because I'm hosting great events. They're on other podcasts that I'm pitching myself to be a guest on. So instead of hoping that my ideal client finds me, I'm going to go where they already are. If my clients are business owners, I'm an active entrepreneur on Facebook groups or LinkedIn, whatever it is. I remember one of the first questions we would ask clients during our onboarding to be a PR agency client when we're going to help them pitch to be a podcast or in the media. I always ask them where are the top 10 places that your ideal client hangs out. And I'm talking like, what books are they reading? What magazines are they reading? What events are they going to? Because you want to get a sense of where they already are. If they're already going to be there, then you just got to show up. And maybe it's not doing anything fancy than just buying a ticket to an event like the Pink Skirt Project Summit and just showing up in the room. That's it. Because by the time you're there, when you're in that room, you're already in the energy and the rest will take care of itself. So long as you can introduce yourself to at least one other person. Maybe the last piece of advice I'd give myself is this. Reframe, quote, the word annoying as serving and show up consistently. It takes like at least 7, 12, maybe now 21 times from someone to hear from you repeatedly before they tune in, pay attention, and actually consider buying from you. Because there's so much out there. So you're competing against not just your competitors, but everything else that's going on in someone's life. And when I talk about the Pink Skirt Society or the Pink Skirt Project Summit, it's like on repeat. And if you're a longtime listener of the show, you're probably like, Renee, it's so much. Can you shut up? But it's really not. It's not that much. It's something I'm passionate about, but I also have to be establishing gentle reminders all the time of what it is that I do, how to sign up, where to go. So I used to think I was bothering people by sharing maybe my wins or what I'm working out on or what I'm eating. But now I know that I'm giving them the clarity and the confidence to say yes to what they need. If I only show up when I'm feeling inspired or motivated, I stay in a cycle of hiding. Like my lives. I show up because I'm told I'm to show up. But I know it works. I know it works. And I actually have a sidebar story for you before I end this. So like the annoying part too. Is you might think you're annoying because you know your content so much and you know how much you talk about your stuff. But if the average, for example, Instagram follower, if only like, I think it's like 10 to 20% of your followers actually see your stories, and that might be even high, and you post something once, like you're missing out on 90%, 95% of the people who follow you. So you have to be establishing gentle reminders. Now, I want to go back to the negative feedback, negative comment section. So Sam, who is the creative director at Martell Media, had his mentor come to town, who's worked with some of the biggest names on YouTube and in podcasting. And it was mentoring Sam. Knew that we were starting to do work around my brand. And despite all the strategy, despite this show and the YouTube channel and my Instagram growing, despite already starting to generate a presence, he said, there's only one thing I need to fully understand before I give you any piece of advice in growing your personal brand online. It's this. You have to be okay with judgment. You have to be okay with negative comments. Like, okay, if you've never put yourself out there before, you've never experienced the full breadth of the hate that people can throw at you. And if you're not comfortable with it, you never will be able to be visible. You just can't. You have to do the inner work. The cool thing about those comments, they can be deleted. The cool thing about those terrible people on the line online, they can be blocked. They can be reported. The worst part is when the negative comments come from somebody you know, you like, you love, you trust. And you have to be mentally prepared to ignore or have a conversation about it. Because there's a lot of people in your life that want to see you shine and will do anything to get you up there to make sure that you're achieving your goals. And those are often your acquaintances and some people you don't even know. It's the people that you know the most that keep pulling you down to safety. Some don't want you to see you get hurt. Some don't want you to fail. But most don't want you to excel better and faster than them. And you have to be okay with the fact that you're going to lose people on the way to gaining more visibility. So bottom line is this. Hiding feels safe in the moment, but it's actually expensive. It costs you clients, it costs you confidence and clarity. Without visibility, growth is impossible. But visibility isn't about being everywhere. It's about being intentional, consistent, and genuinely helpful in the right places. So a couple things I want you to do before you go is direct message me on Instagram, Renee_Warren. I want to know where you're holding yourself back on being invisible, because I've got all the stories and I've had all the doubts. I also want you to check out the link in the show notes for my friend Heather Chauvet's cool program called the Soul First Time Strategy. In only 15 minutes, she's going to teach you how to get 8 to 10 hours of your time back. And I want you to check out the Pink Skirt Project too, if there's anything I can answer about the society or coaching program and the summit that's coming up in Kelowna in July of 2026. Until next time, ladies, peace out.